Judiciary Committee. Sorry for that. It's been one of those days. You ever one of those days, Congressman?
I have one of those days every day.
Let me ask you a little bit about this beef that maybe you, but certainly a good many of your colleagues have with Mark Zuckerberg, that he should testify, should go before the committee, that he's pulling some fast ones. What are the fast ones?
Well, I think the issue here is that this was censorship, and it was raw censorship. This is everything that, again, the Biden administration said they weren't doing, and that even Zuckerberg said wasn't happening. The executive branch was letting them know when they were displeased, when something was put up, and that they didn't want it to happen. You don't do that in America. We have something called freedom of speech. So I think if Zuckerberg's smart, and I think he's getting smart, he should lay all of this at the feet of the White House, because that's where it belongs. And even if you look at that thread and you look at some parts, you can see where they weren't real happy at Facebook all the time doing what they had to do, but they felt so much pressure coming from the President of the United States and coming from that executive branch that they did some of it. So I think they should just say, I'm sorry, we're not doing it anymore, and we will cooperate, and we'll give you as much information as we can, because we are going to keep pressing. This is about finding out the truth and making sure that this doesn't happen again in America.
So much we don't know yet. We do know that he has a rival to Twitter. I guess it's not Twitter anymore. It's going to be this X that Elon Musk has. His Threads. It's bleeding a lot of subscribers who just came on. But do you want to police that as well?
No, you should. I believe in freedom of speech, unless you're, telling people to do bodily harm to somebody, or you're being just completely irresponsible. But by and large, if you're going to err, you should err on the side of open speech, freedom of speech, the right in America to say what you want. For example, I mean, even when they tried to really stop anybody who didn't believe in the vaccine, well, that was up to people to speak about that. And you know what? This is the thing, Neil, just going to the vaccine for a second, a lot of what was said back then and was squelched and suppressed was actually true. There are instances where some of those therapeutics were good, and the vaccine was not all that it was built to be, or what it was told, what we were told that it was. So I think in all these issues, you know what? The truth shall prevail. If you're telling the truth, you're going to rise to the top, and that's what the rule of law we should use.
I wanted to get, as a New Jerseyan, your thoughts on Chris Christie, who is recommended in the Hunter Biden investigation that you need a special counsel now. It's far past a joke, and that's what's required. Do you agree with that?
Oh, yes, we do. There's so much that hasn't. Believe me, we've had a lot of the tangential people before our committee and looked into a lot of this. We know that the attorney from Delaware, he certainly originally, he won't say it now, but wanted to expand into California, and he wanted to look into a lot more of this, and even wanted to be a special counsel. So we know that there's a lot more there. We've only seen the tip of the iceberg, and I thought the judge was very good. She's not a super conservative judge. She is a moderate, but she just really told it how it was. You know what, Neil? If you or I did what he did, and I know I'm a gun owner, if you falsified a federal form and lied on it, used somebody else's Social Security number, you or I would be going to jail between 3 and 10 years, probably closer to 10 years. Forget the tax stuff. That's nothing. Guns are a serious issue. So we know there's a lot more, and that whole investigation should be expanded into California and Washington, for that matter, what they originally wanted to do. And here's the real question. This is the real big deal. This is the million-dollar question. We're finding out more and more that the president knew of these business deals, knew what his son was doing. The question is, did he receive any benefit from this, the president himself? And the question is, if he did that alter public policy in the United States of America? That's what's scary about this. We have to dig in real hard on this. And I'm telling you, this is worse than Watergate.
Well, we'll see. The White House, for its part, is sort of disassociating the president still from these deals, and that he did not get involved in or even know of them. But we'll see. A lot to sort out, as you said, Congressman. Always good having you, sir. In the meantime here, we'll be talking about Chris.